friends, welcome to Kamath Astrology. Today's topic is Mars moves through the Gandanta zone, and this is going to happen between 3rd December and 11th December 2025. So we will see the impact of this on the world and on all the individuals. Now first let us understand what exactly is Gandanta. When a planet is in the last 3 degrees of a water sign and the first 3 degrees of a fire sign, it is said to be in the Gandanta zone. So now right now, if you see, Mars is between 27 and 30 degrees in the sign of Scorpio, and on 7th December he is going to enter the sign of Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. And when he is between 0 to 3 degrees in the fire sign, that is, he is in the first pada of the Mula nakshatra and in the last pada of the Jeshta nakshatra, Mars is said to be in Gandanta. So right now Mars is transiting through the last pada, that is the pada 4 of the Jeshta nakshatra, which lies in the sign of Scorpio, and then he will enter the first pada of the Mula nakshatra, which lies in the sign of Sagittarius. So whenever he is transiting through this zone, which I have shown by the red line, Mars is said to be in Gandanta. Now what exactly is Gandanta? Gandanta refers to a knot. It is the border between the fire sign and the water sign, and whenever a planet passes through this border zone, which is roughly 6 degrees, on one side of the border it is 3 degrees, on the other side of the border it is 3 degrees, the planet feels like it is drowning. It is like a knot which is difficult to untie. So you may feel suffocated in this time period. You may feel to be under a lot of stress in this time period, depending on which houses Scorpio and Sagittarius are with respect to your ascendant in your natal chart. So what exactly is Mars? Mars is our passion, it is our anger, it is our aggression, it is dominance, it is the blood flowing through our body. Mars also represents surgeries, injuries, cuts, accidents, sudden events. So when Mars is going to pass through this border zone, people across the world, they will find themselves to be extremely stressed. Anger will be on a rise amongst the general public. Mars also represents the armed forces, people in the police force, navy, air force. So those people will also experience extreme stress in this time period. Now for India in particular, which has a Taurus ascendant, Mars is now transiting from the 7th house of Scorpio to the 8th house of Sagittarius, and he is passing through the Gandanta zone. And Sagittarius is a fire sign. Mula represents the root. Sagittarius represents a Shiva temple. It represents war. So when Mars passes through the Gandanta zone and he starts entering Sagittarius, there is a high chance of disputes over religious structures happening in India, or disputes related to religious beliefs or religious places intensifying in this time period. So that can also result in riots, that can also result in the armed forces, army, police force being put into action to curb such incidents. For USA, which has a Sagittarius ascendant, Mars is now going to move from the 12th house of Scorpio to the 1st house of Sagittarius. So amongst the people in the United States, the anger is going to increase manifold. This Mars is also going to aspect Saturn in Pisces, the 4th house in the United States chart, and that can show that USA can attack some country, or it can get engaged in a naval war eventually in this time period. The home environment, the domestic environment in the United States will not be good because Mars is moving from the 12th house to the 1st house. The cost or the expenses are going to increase drastically. 12th house shows expenses. When it moves to the 1st house, it shows that the country's expenses increase drastically. The people will find it difficult to earn a livelihood honestly there now. Costs will rise like anything. And to divert the attention, the government may attack some other country, or get engaged in a naval dispute or a dispute over oil. Possibility of earthquakes or volcanoes exploding in. Now, for China, this transit is happening from the 11th house to the 12th house. So, here the Chinese government's relationship with other countries may get spoilt in this time period. In China, too, people may protest, there may be lot of problems. All this is clearly seen. 11th house shows your network in this case. It shows the countries with which you are associated, your partners, and the relationship with them will come under strain in this time period for China. For Pakistan, this transit of Mars is happening from the 8th house to the 9th house. And as Mars passes through the Gandanta, the 8th house energy intensifies. So, what is going to happen is there is going to be a separatist movement in Pakistan. The government there can come under immense stress in this time period, and civil discord, civil war is possible in Pakistan. Now let us look at the impact on individual ascendant. So I will begin with the Aries ascendant. And for the Aries ascendant, Mars is now moving from the 8th to the 9th house, and it is passing through the Gandanta zone. So matters related to ancestral property or your own health, those can bother you in this time period. So these are the two areas where you need to be careful. If you are going on a long distance journey or to a foreign country, there also you may face some problems during the journey. So these are the three areas where you need to be careful. For the Gemini ascendant or Mithun Lagna, this is the transit from 6th house to 7th house for Mars. And therefore, it shows that you may become very competitive. Even with your partner, you may try to compete in this time period, and that can bring problems in your marital life, in your business partnerships as well. So, you should have patience, don't be over competitive, stay calm. That is the advice for the Gemini ascendant. For the Cancer ascendant or Karka Lagna, Mars is now moving from the 5th house of Scorpio to the 6th house of Sagittarius and passing through the Gandanta zone. So here matters related to love, investment, children, those need attention. You should not become hyperactive in these areas. Have patience, things will fall in place. Now for those who have a debilitated Mars in their natal chart, especially in the sign of Cancer, this transit can bring problems in your love life. So you have to be careful on this front. For the Leo ascendant or Siva Lagna, Mars is moving from the 4th house of Scorpio to 5th house of Sagittarius, passing through the Gandanta zone. So matters related to your home, mother's health, and also related to the investments that you make and your children, those come under focus in this time period. You may feel like you are being overwhelmed in these areas in this time period. For Taurus ascendant or Vrishabh Lagna, you have to be careful on the relationship front. Now for the Virgo ascendant or Kanya Lagna, Mars is moving from the 3rd house of Scorpio to the 4th house of Sagittarius, passing through the Gandanta zone. 3rd house shows your action. It shows your siblings, it shows your neighbors. Whereas the 4th house shows the home environment, the domestic environment. So when Mars is passing through this Gandanta zone, relationship with siblings can become a problem. You may become extremely hyperactive in this time period. So try to calm down, don't get stressed, practice pranayam, and that is good for you. For the Libra ascendant or Tula Lagna, Mars transit from 2nd house to the 3rd house, that is from Scorpio to Sagittarius, passes through the Gandanta zone. So here family related disputes with siblings, relationships can come under stress in this time. For Scorpio ascendant, you have to take care of your health, and your family disputes can increase in this time. Now for the Sagittarius ascendant or Dhanu Lagna, Mars moves from the 12th house to the 1st house. So your expenses are going to increase in this time period. You may be extremely angry in this time period. over matters related to expenses, property, or even certain foreigners with whom you are dealing. So, this is the area where you need to be careful. For the Capricorn ascendant or Makar Lagna, Mars transits from the 11th house to the 12th house. So, you may face certain losses, though you might initially make certain gains in investments. And certain friends may move away from you in this time period. You may feel stressed because of those friends. So, that is the area where you need to be careful. For Aquarius ascendant Kumbha Lagna, Mars moves from the 10th house to the 11th house. So, on the career front, you will face certain challenges. Relationship with your colleagues, with your subordinates, that can come under stress in this time period. Mainly on the career front, you need to be patient in this time period. Now, for the Pisces ascendant or mean Lagna, Mars is transiting from the 9th house to the 10th house. So, matters related to ancestral property, work front, business, all of those come under stress in this time period. And you need extreme patience in this time period.